Hey, what's up guys? My name is Mike and welcome to the Tipsy Goat. Today we will be looking at a new commander from Tarkir Dragonstorm. It's going to be the second commander from the Mardu Search precon. It's going to be Neriv, Crackling Vanguard. Neriv is a 5-mana Mardu legendary spirit dragon with flying and death touch. When Neriv enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 goblins, and when Neriv attacks, exile a number of cards from the top of your library equal to the number of differently named tokens you control. During any turn you attack with a commander, you may play those cards. So, first off, there's a lot going on. We want to create a lot of differently named tokens to utilize Neriv's ability as much as possible. He's a 4/4 flyer with death touch, so him surviving the attack should not be a problem. It also says that we exile cards and we can play them whenever we have attacked with a commander this turn, which means that we can cast the cards on a later turn. And he's also good in just any Mardu token team deck because Neriv has a commander attack. That's probably why Neriv is the second commander of the precon and Zergo is going to be the first commander of the precon. Alright, so what will our game plan be? I've chosen for 37 lands, 14 ramp, 11 card advantage, 9 removal, 4 board wipes, 8 protection and 31 theme cards. There will be some overlap with multiple things that benefit having tokens on board, like Blackmark Connection, Ramps draws a card, creates a token, and Caesar, Legion's Emperor, that creates a token, draws a card, and could potentially burn our opponents with how many tokens we have on board. Then, let's get to the good stuff. Whenever we attack, Adeline will give us attacking humans for each opponent. Anim Pakal gets a +1/+1 counter, then creates X known creatures that are attacking for every 1/1 counter on Anim Pakal. Caesar lets us sacrifice a creature whenever we attack, then we can choose 2, create 2 soldiers that are attacking, draw a card, and deal damage equal to the number of creature tokens you control to target opponent. Then we have Dollmaker Shop. Whenever we attack a player, we create a 1/1 white toy token. There's Mardu Ascendancy. Mardu Ascendancy puts a 1/1 goblin on the battlefield tapped and attacking. We can also sacrifice it to give our creatures +0/+3 until the end of turn, making them survive and attack more. And then there's Rosie, that gives us a junk token that we can sacrifice for card advantage at red mana. Then there are a few creatures that create tokens whenever that creature attacks. Cards like Brimas, whenever he attacks, create a cat soldier, but he also creates a token whenever he blocks. Enwire Garrison, whenever it attacks, create 2 1/1 humans. Then we have the big boy goblin himself, Prinkle, put a counter on him and create tokens equal to its power. And there's Myrel, Shield of Argive, giving us soldiers equal to the number of soldiers we control, while also giving us protection from spells and abilities from our opponents during our turn. These 10 cards, 11 if we include our commander, trigger on attacking. That is why I've added Ishin, 2 Heavens as 1 into the deck. Ishin doubles triggers that trigger whenever we attack. And then we have 10 cards that will give us tokens most of the time. We have the low cost enchantments like Bitter Blossom, Dreadhorde Invasion, and Skrell's Hive that gives us a token in our upkeep. Then there are also 2 cards in the deck. Court of Embereth creates a 3/1 red knight creature token in our upkeep, then deal damage equal to the number of creatures we control if we are the monarch. Court of Grace creates a 1/1 spirit in our upkeep, but if we are the monarch it creates a 4/4 angel instead. And then there's Charismatic Conqueror. If an artifact or creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, they may tap it. If they don't, we create a 1/1 white vampire. This can either slow down our opponents if they rely on haste or treasures, or when they tap their creature, it gives us a good opportunity to attack with our creatures. And then we have a Valadar Retreat. Whenever land enters the battlefield, we create a 2/2 beast, or give all of our creatures a +1/+1 counter. This card's versatility is great. And I've also included Kambal, Profiteering Major. For once each turn, whenever an opponent creates 1 or more tokens, for each of them, we create a copy of those tokens. And whenever we create 1 or more tokens, each opponent loses 1 life and we gain 1 life. This card is great because treasures are a big thing in Commander, and when they ramp, we ramp. At worst, this card deals damage whenever we create a token, and we will be doing that a lot. Alright, now that we have tokens on board, let's make them do more damage. First off, let's get the boring part out of the way, the lands. It's going to be the standard Mardu package. There are no basic lands in the deck because the color splash is all over the place. There are a few lands that do some fun stuff though, so I'll go through those. First up we have Accursed Dunyard. It taps for colorless, and for 2 and tap, regenerate target spirit. Our commander is a spirit dragon, so this offers some great protection. And then we also have Giant Tower. The goal of the deck is to have differently named tokens, so if we have multiple tokens with the same name, this land can sacrifice it and add some extra mana. There are also lands that give us tokens. Tutor the Dead gives us a 2/2 zombie whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. The downside is we need 7 differently named lands, so it might be a little slow. There's also Care Keep, a land that can create a kobold. And then there's one of my favorite lands in the game, Westvale Abbey. For 5 mana tap, sacrifice 5 creatures, transform this land into Ormondal, Profane Prince, a 9/7 flying demon with lifelink, indestructible and haste. Great if you have enough tokens lying around to sacrifice. Then let's get to how we add more mana. For ramp, it's a little higher than I normally would run, but our commander can give a lot of card advantage, so having more mana lying around is not a bad thing to have. So the first card to highlight is Black Market Connections, one of my favorite black cards in the game. If there's a Swiss knife card in Magic, then this is the card. It gives us a card and creates a token. Perfect card for our deck. Then we have Prosperous Partnership. This card creates 2 1/1 citizens, and when we tap 3 creatures, we create a treasure token. So it ramps us with the creatures have summoning sickness, or if you keep them up to potentially block. Tap 3 at the end step before our turn and get the treasure. Next up is Prosper Tomebound. At the beginning of your end step, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card, and whenever you play a card from exile, create a treasure token. Technically making our next spell one less to cast and just ramp when it's aligned. This card works perfect with our commander. Then we have Rose, Cutthroat Raider. For each opponent that we have attacked, create a junk token, giving us some card advantage, and when we sack a junk, get a red mana. It also ramps us. For removal, it's the standard package, Unmaking, Damn to be destroy target creature, but we can overload it to create a board wipe. Deadly Relic, just free exile. Generous Gift, destroy target permanent. Stroke of Midnight, destroy target non-land permanent. And of course the Swords and the Path to Exile. One card to highlight is Rotten Mouth Viper. For 6 mana, we have a Torment of Hailfire on a stick. 6 is a lot of mana, but we can reduce the cost by sacking some tokens. Maybe not the best removal card in the game, but I think it fits the theme nice with all the attacking and stuff. Then let's go to the board wipes. We have Damn. Then we have our own Mardu Cyclonic Rift, destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control, and the best board wipe in the game, Toxic Deluge. I would normally run more board wipes, but since we are creating a lot of tokens and have a big board state, we don't want to remove the board as much as possible. Then let's take a look at the card advantage. There are 11 cards that can give us card advantage. Cards like Enduring Innocence, Tokasia's Welcome, and Caretaker's Talent will draw us 1 card each turn whenever a token enters the battlefield. There are 2 cards in the deck that will make us the Monarch, at worst drawing us 1 card, but since we are playing a lot of creatures, we should be able to stay royal longer than 1 turn. Black Market Connections for everything again. And then we have Caesar. Whenever we attack, we can do multiple things, create tokens, draw a card, and burn our opponents. And last but certainly not least, Skull Clamp. Most of our tokens are 1/1, so we can turn those tokens into card draw. Then we have the protection cards. A little higher than normal, but this is because we run a big board state that we want to keep alive. First off, Boros Charm. Great card that does a lot of things. Protecting our board, deal 4 damage to an opponent, or give a creature double stack. Flawless Maneuver, Rootboard Defenses, and Teferi's Protection just completely saves our board for one board wipe. Ink Shield, prevent big damage, but also create a lot of 2/1 Inklings. And then we have Dolmen Gate, to make sure our attacking creatures survive. Again, our creatures are tokens, so they're quite small, but we want to attack with the creatures as much as possible, so keeping them alive is quite essential. Team cards. Bing, bing, boom, bang. First off, everyone's favorite dice game in Magic, Qatar's Crusade. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under our control, put a 1/1 counter on each creature we control. Venator Retreat does the same thing, but only when a land enters the battlefield. Then we have Porcelain Gallery, the other side of the room with Dollmaker Shop. Creature control of base power toughness equal to the number of creatures we control. So 7 creatures will make them all base power and toughness 7/7. Great way to finish the game when we have a big board. The other way to finish the game with a big board is with Moonshaker Cavalry. When it enters the battlefield, creatures we control get +1 and +1 and flying into end of turn, equal to the number of creatures we control, so we can fly to victory. If we have a big board, we can swing with our creatures and they can be blocked. And then we also have Akroma's Will, choose 1. If you control a commander, you cast a spell, we can choose both. Creature control gain Flying, Vengeance and Double Strike, or creature you control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colors until the end of turn. Just great versatility in 1 card. Next up, everyone's favorite Elishnorn, the classic one. Gives all of our creatures +2/+2, while our opponent's creatures get -2/-2. Perfect to balance out the battlefield in our advantage. Last but not least, Fervent Charge. Whenever a creature we control attack, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. This card works great with Ishin. So yeah, that's the deck. It's just create a lot of tokens, buff the tokens, and swing. It's classic Magic. So you can also build the deck in multiple different ways. You can also choose a more cannon build, so you shoot your opponents with the tokens that enter the battlefield, with cards like Impact Tremors, Warley the Skull, and Perforos. Or you can choose to build the deck around playing from exile, with cards like Wild Magic Sorcerer, Nalvashni, or Passionate Archaeologist. I think all of these strategies work great within Mardu, So either way, this commander will do its thing quite well as long as you're creating a shit ton of differently named tokens. Just make sure you buy all the tokens so you can just put them on the board so it looks great. So yeah, that was the DeckTech. Let me know if I missed some cards. What cards would you add? Because there are a lot of cards that you can add in the deck. Maybe I forgot some. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, we are the Tipsy Goat, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.